Hi there, it's me, Rebecca Dickey, and this is for my folklore class for Dr. Nan McIntyre. I'm here with my friend, and we're going to talk to you about a special academic folklore tradition where she goes to school. We're having this wonderful interview on Skype, and we're recording it on November the 8th of 2009. So now she's going to introduce herself.
Howdy, I'm Catherine, and I am a junior history and English major at Texas A&M University. But most importantly, I am the loudest and proudest member of the Fightin' Texas Aggie class of 2011. Whoop!
Okay, well, we are so glad to have you here. And so, Kat, how old are you?
I am 20. Soon
And what? Oh, yes, yes. And what do you do?
I am a student, full-time student.
Yay. And what is your religion?
Well, Christian, I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that works. And ethnicity?
I am Caucasian.
Awesome. Okay, and now I have to read this thing that says, I hereby release the material described above to the Indiana State University Folklore Archives. It is my understanding that this material may be scanned for digital access and used by the public for research and publication. Do you promise not to sue Indiana State, Kat?
I promise.
Yay! Okay, so you're going to talk to us about Aggie Bonfire, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, can you tell us just what Aggie Bonfire is?
Well, Aggie Bonfire started at A&M in 1909, which is a very, very long time ago. Actually, this year is the 100th anniversary of the beginning of Bonfire. And it was this huge bonfire that was built and burned in order to kind of celebrate the upcoming game against the University of Texas, or TU as we so affectionately call them. And mostly because they're not the only university in Texas, they're just a university in Texas, and therefore they have no right to be the University of Texas. So, anyway, the main symbolism of the bonfire was to symbolize the quote-unquote burning desire of the Aggies to beat University of Texas. And we play them every year. They're our biggest rival. And now it's actually like a big national football showdown thing that ends up on ESPN every year, which is exciting. But the bonfire burned every year from 1909, except for in 1963, when they didn't burn it in honor of President Kennedy, who had been assassinated in Texas, sadly enough. And the main thing is that it just continued to go, though, and it was organized by the Aggie Bonfire Committee until 1999, which was the year of the tragic collapse of Bonfire that killed 12 Texas A&M students. And that event is actually the reason why it's not held on campus anymore and is not technically a school-sanctioned function, but is still very much a tradition because it's what we call Old Army, which is something that has been around since the beginning of Aggie time, pretty much. And it's just a part of the school and a part of who we are. And so with as far as the traditions of Bonfire, there's a lot of lingo that goes on with it, and it's very cultish, I guess, to people outside of A&M, which is funny. But it's part of what we call our other education, which is anything outside of academia that just expands how much we learn as Aggie students, mostly extracurriculars and just being a college student here at A&M College Station. And it began as a core tradition, since A&M was a core school and a military school from the very beginning. And as more non-regs were allowed into the school, they also became pretty involved in the tradition as well. And now it's just a huge to do. It starts with cut, which is when the student bonfire builders, I guess you would call them, go out to the designated area and cut down logs in order to build the different levels of the bonfire. It's a 3-tiered bonfire. It looks a lot like a wedding cake, except on fire. And so, they go out and cut down the logs, and they have special clothes that they call groats, which are basically just jeans and t-shirts. But they don't get washed until bonfire is burned. And a lot of times people just don't even wash them then. They just wear them again next year, which
stinky.
Yeah, it's stinky and gross, but it's a lot like a big badge of honor to be walking around campus in your groats. So I don't know. I guess it really depends. But the second phase of Aggie Bonfire is called Load, which is before 1999. It was when the logs were brought back to campus to start building the bonfire. But now that we can't have it on campus anymore, it's taken to the designated student bonfire site, which is just outside of town. It's really not that far away, so obviously it can't be too far away or else nobody would go. And so they take them over there to get ready for stack, which, as its name implies, is the part where they stack the logs. And how that does is each layer is built as just a big circle of logs that stand on their ends, and they're wired together to be held firm. And then the next layer goes up, and a lot of scaling and climbing and really, really, really high and scary, but people manage to do it. I'm not sure how, but they do. And the people that are involved in bonfire are required to wear hard hats, which are affectionately known as pots. And each pot has a different color, which identifies each student's position as a builder of bonfire. You know, there's red pots and yellow pots and blue pots and pink pots and all kinds of stuff, and each one has a different position, like leadership positions and non-very respected positions. A lot of them get voted on by dorm, and it's a lot of hierarchy and weirdness. But from there, the bonfire itself is lit the night before the Texas game, which at the very top we always put an outhouse, which is what we affectionately call the TU frat house. And light it on fire and watch it burn, and have a yell practice, and sing our fight song and our the Spirit of Aggie Land, and everyone just has a good time. A lot of people, it's really just a big party and a big pep rally, which is a lot of fun. But as far as that goes, if you would think of like a high school bonfire or a football bonfire, it's like that except on steroids. It's so much bigger and so much more important. It basically controls these people's lives for like 6 months. So it's pretty intense. So,
well, I would like to thank you for sharing your academic folklore with us. And I would just like to say on behalf of all sycamores, we're getting gypped trees. So, thank you very much, and good night.
Good night.
Okay, we can stop recording.